Hi, DAVIII, and today we have a new episode in the product review series, and today we'll be reviewing the XPPen Artist 22 Generation 2. Now, as of this recording, it's not the most recent one by XPPen. I think the up-to-date one is the Artist 22 Plus. But even though the one I have now in my possession, the XPPen Artist 22 Gen 2, even though it's not that old, but it's like a generation, like it's the one that came before the Artist 22 Plus. I will say this, I think it's still amazing. Like it's way more solid than, for example, I have a 22E Pro by XPPen as well. This one just feels it's just way above it. It's like an entire league above the previous tablets. As someone who has a 22E Pro and 13.3 Pro by XPPen, it's not even the same. Even the pens for those pen displays, they're not even as good, and they don't feel as like this one. The one for the Artist 22 Gen 2, it feels more compact, more professional. It's almost just a slight. XPPen did send me a Deco Pro MW. It's a recent pen tablet they have. And for that pen, there is a bit more weight with that. So the one I have now for the Artist 22 Gen 2, it is a bit lighter. But it just feels way more professional, to be honest. The ones for the 22E Pro and the 13.3 Pro, for me, just my opinion, it feels very plasticky. I know there is a rubber part and everything, but it just doesn't feel as good. Now, obviously, for this Artist 22 pen display, there is pen tilt, which is something that I've been looking for. I mean, the 13.3 Pro has pen tilt as well, but it's too small for me. And to me, this one just feels different overall. And to save you time, I highly recommend this product. If you're trying to go for an Artist 22 Plus and you're kind of worried about the money, or maybe you're just kind of like you can't fully go there yet, I think the Artist 22 Gen 2 is still a good option. Even though it's like a couple of years old, it's not that bad. Like it's really solid. Of all the XPPen tablets I have and the one Wacom pen tablet I have, to me, it's the best tablet I've had, or I have so far. It feels so like right out of the box, the stand is already attached, and you don't actually need a monitor stand or a monitor arm. I have monitor arms here with me, but I remember taking out this pen display out of the box into my desk. I almost felt like for a second there, I decided, or for maybe a couple of minutes, I decided to just not use the monitor arm because this thing just felt so solid. First of all, like in the bottom part, there are two rubber like patches to help the pen display not move. But the stand also in the back, the adjustable stand, it's very sleek. There's no like clanky sort of sound or anything. Like it's very smooth. And it locks well too, like you don't feel like your pen display is going to move around. And another thing about this pen display is that it has some weight to it. So I think that adds to the sturdiness to it. Like it's not that heavy, like to the point where you can't move it around, but it just has some nice weight to it. For example, for my 22E Pro, I do have it on a monitor arm, but the thing about that is whenever I would try to move it, or adjust it to my tastes, it will always kind of shake a little because it was just too light. And to me, that kind of takes away from it does interfere with your work a bit. But for this one, using the same monitor arm, like it just stays put. Like it's not so heavy that the monitor arm can't move at all, but it just has enough weight for the monitor arm, the ones I have anyway, to just stay there. So when I draw, the pen display isn't shaking as much. I mean, obviously it's gonna move, but it's sturdy enough for me to not worry about that idea. Like I can just focus mainly on my work. So for the contents of the box, I pretty much just focused on obviously the pen, the pen sort of case, and it did take out the USB-C to USB-C cable. Now, I have seen an art review of this specific product where I don't think they even used the power cable. I think they were able to power this pen display with just the USB-C to USB cable. Now, I'm not sure if I'm just misremembering or not recalling it correctly, but maybe that can work. I don't know. But for me, I did try that and it wasn't enough, I guess. So I did have to use a power cable along with the USB-C to USB-C cable. And it does work. And it's very quick. Like, you don't even have to think about it. So what else? Yeah, so I did start out using the tablet or the pen display with the stand, but eventually I did want to use a monitor arm, so I removed, you do need a screwdriver obviously, just remove the screws and attach it to your monitor arm, and I think it's gonna work. It's gonna feel good, right? And it has, again, enough weight for the monitor arm to just not shake too much. And yeah, and I'm very glad too that this thing has like the surface. I know that 22E Pro has a matte surface too, but it doesn't feel as good though. I think they made a change with this version of the pen display and in this Artist 22 Gen 2, because it feels more. Not only does the pen itself, the stylus, not feel as plasticky, the actual like screen, the protective screen, it's not plasticky at all. Like it's almost like this deserves like a pro kind of name. It should have been called like the Artist 22 Pro something. I know there are more like higher versions. I'm not exactly sure, but even though this display is just a 1920 by 1080, it feels like it's designed for pros, and I almost feel like I'm privileged to be able to have this thing. And again, the price point, it's not that expensive, right? I mean, it is pricey, but it's affordable, I think. If you need a pen display that has a vase mount, this thing is what you should get, right? You can always go for like bigger, like, you know, the recent one, like the Artist 22 Plus and other like higher resolution stuff. But for most people, if you need a pen display that's big enough to be a monitor, if you want that space, but again, you also want that vase mount for, you know, you want to be able to attach it to a monitor arm. This thing is just like, I don't think this even has an equal at this point. Now, to be fair, I haven't tried any other products of this size aside from the 22E Pro, but definitely I can say this Artist 22 Gen 2 is way better than it's not even close to the 22E Pro. And the stylus, by the way, is battery free. I don't have to charge it. To me, it was always an annoying thing to having to constantly, because sometimes you forget to charge it, right? To charge the stylus. So sometimes when I'm drawing something or painting something, like mid that session or in the middle of that entire session, I would obviously have to like get pissed, and I have to wait for the pen to charge, and it's just very annoying. I know it comes with two pens, so you can help that by just alternating your pens, but obviously that's just a hassle compared to just having one pen that doesn't need to be charged. And obviously, compared to the 22E Pro, this one, it supports pen tilt, so for me it was something that I really wanted. I did have pen tilt for the 13.3 Pro, but the pen display size was just too small for me. And I think that 22E Pro did spoil me, or it showed me that I work a little better, not little, way better when I have a big monitor sized pen display. So what else? I did talk about the stand. It's great. I mean, you can always reuse the stand for something else, for a different monitor or a different pen display, but again, you can use it right out of the box. But if you're someone who wants that maneuverability with your monitor arm, it's just as sturdy because of the weight. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's the weight. It's not too heavy, again, to be a hindrance, but not too light to be sort of, you know, considered weak and fragile. Now this one doesn't have any pen buttons. buttons in the side, and I do prefer it actually. I'm not really. I tend to use my keyboard more for my shortcuts and everything. So if you're someone who likes keys on your actual pen display, this doesn't have any. So you may have to find a different version. But I think it actually helps with the vibe of it, because sometimes when you go to like the side of your pen display, if you have buttons on the side, sometimes you'll accidentally click on those because you need your hand to rest, right? The more you go to the side, it's gonna hit the border of your pen display. So having pen buttons or buttons on the side, I think it's almost a hassle sometimes, I think. So I do like it's about 1 inch. Like you actually have like the main screen, right, where you can draw and everything. And on the sides, you have like about 1 inch worth of allowance, so you can actually rest your hand a bit. I've noticed for the pen tablet the XPPen sent me, the Deco Pro. It's nice, it's sleek, but I forgot to mention this in the past episode, product review episode. But it doesn't really have like a good allowance in the side. So whenever the more you reach the borders in the right hand side or left hand side, your hand kind of falls off. So it kind of ruins the experience a bit. Maybe they should have added like at least 1 inch or more, or 2 inches, an inch and a half, like allowance for the right and left hand side. So whenever you go close to the border, like your hand doesn't fall off and hit the table, right? So anyway, for this pen display, the borders are just about the right size for me. And what else? Oh yeah, I did notice when I tried to calibrate the pen, the calibration option wasn't showing. I'm not sure if it's just me. But thankfully, just testing out the pen, it's very straight. Like I don't even need to calibrate it, so I'm not sure if that's the design intention, or maybe I just installed it the wrong way, or maybe I have to reinstall one of the drivers. But out of the box, the pen calibration, like it's accurate. The point is it's accurate. I don't have to change anything. Unlike, say, again, for my 22E Pro, for my 13.3 Pro, both by XPPen, I did have to calibrate it in the beginning because the cursor was just kind of weird. And sometimes I have to recalibrate things for some reason. But for this one, again, I'm not sure if it's just me, but the calibration option wasn't showing. But again, out of the box, I don't have to actually change anything because it's exact, right? So that's like a good thing for me. The pen pressure feels way better. Maybe it's because the screen and the pen tip or the pen nib just feels good. So like I feel like I'm drawing on the thing compared to, say, my 23 Pro. Even though it's a matte surface, it still feels like I was drawing on glass for some reason. Like I felt like there was some distance between my pen nib and the actual display. But for this one, it feels so close to the point where I don't really recognize the difference. Like I feel like I'm drawing on an actual like canvas or paper. So if you want a more deeper connection to your art piece, maybe this is the pen display for you. Maybe I'm just hyping it up too much because I'm just too excited. I don't know. But honestly, just my opinion, it's not just a sufficient tablet. I think it's definitely one of XPPen's best tablets, right? I know they can always improve on things, but given in their track record, I think this one is definitely something they should show off. And it does have the old logo, the same logo I have with the 22E Pro. So even though it's like a generation, I guess, behind, it's not like the Artist 122 Plus. It's still just as good. And again, as I mentioned, it is one of XPPen's, I would say, best products, specifically in the pen display category. Would it be nice to see like a 2K version, 4K version? Sure. But I think the 1920 1080 it's enough, and it gets the job done in that regard when it comes to the resolution size. But everything outside of that, it's the kind of pen display that makes me want to draw more. Like I feel guilty if I don't draw or paint on it, right? And I think this thing is gonna boost, not gonna, it already has boosted my productivity. Like just having this thing with me right now, you can't see it, but I'm actually, caressing and just, touching the sides of the. It feels good too. Like when you touch the sides, it doesn't feel plastic. It just feels like a freaking, like marble almost. Like, well, not exactly, but that elegance you get with like marble or granite. The vibe. Like it's not shiny like a marble, but it just has it like, oh, you know. Like I feel like it's late at night, and I'm like running my hands across the hips of my anime waifu, right? I just recommend this pen display. And again, as I mentioned I think I did mention this in the beginning of this recording. This is the pen. This is the best pen tablet display I've ever had as of this recording. I mean, there's always more. There's always new products. There's always new like innovations and stuff like that. But this thing is reliable as hell. Now, again, I've only used this for like a day or two, so who knows how long this will last. But I think because my 22E Pro has lasted me a long time, even though the stylus pen buttons are just freaking out on me, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to replace it eventually with the Artist 22 Gen 2. I just knew from the beginning like it was gonna last, right? But this, having the Artist 22 Gen 2 right now, I think this is gonna be a long-term product. It doesn't feel cheap, it doesn't look cheap, and it doesn't act cheap. Oh. And I think obviously if you're interested in like the Wacom stuff, I mean I know they're like the standard, the long time standard, but I think for most people, XPPen is okay, especially again this specific tablet or pen display, the Artist 22 Generation 2. If you have a bit more money, you may want to try out the Artist 22 Plus. But yeah, I just highly recommend this one. Because everything just fits, like the stand, the actual pen display, the actual stylus pen. Now it doesn't have like an eraser tip, but I don't really use that as much anyway. But yeah, the pen I get for the stylus, it's way more sleeker. It's not as like tapered as say the pen I have for the 13.3 Pro or the 20E Pro. It's almost like flat. Like it tapers just a little bit to the end tip of the pen, but it's not as noticeable. Now it is a bit light, but it's not too light that it feels like you're holding like a pencil. It's good. It's a good pen. It's a good stylus pen, and I feel confident when I'm using it. And hopefully, just check out the other videos I'll be making. Just check the description because I'll often say what tablet I used for that specific like recording or episode. So after this product review, I'll be doing some demos. Basically, just check out the art session series I have now, and I'll be showing you some artworks. I wish I had a camera that I can like attach. Maybe in the future I can do this because I don't really have a good camera stand and everything, and I only have my iPhone, and I can't really leave with it because it always has to be charging because it's pretty much like outdated and the battery is pretty much broken at this point. But yeah, so if you want more demos, please check out my other videos of me. I'll be using the Artist 22 Generation 2 pen display with its stylus, and yeah. So if you're looking for the pen display, I highly recommend this. If you've seen any of my stuff, my sketches, my artworks, recently I have been using the Deco Pro pen tablet by XPPen as well. It's good. So for now, I'll be switching more using. I have both. I always have the pen tablet to my side. But given that I have a new sort of babe to take care of and make love with. Oh yeah. you'll be seeing more videos of me using this specific pen display. So check out the XPPen Artist 22 Generation 2, and I hope this video helps you in some way. So yeah, bye!